Yes? Good. Oh, yes. Yeah? Oh. When an ambassador comes, and I asked them this ambassador. Ja, her vi har hans tilmelding.
Porque el año pasado nos quedó muy bonito.
Sí,
exacto. Yo quiero que Estela nos ayude para que dirija algunas manualidades.
Magnífico,
señor.
Hello. Yes, good to see you too. Did Yamira and Ismail, did they arrive?
They haven't arrived. Yeah.
Okay, brother.
Yes.
Yes, that's the problem.
लिफाफे तो कट के तरतीब दे नाल ला दियो इन्हां बुढ़ियां ना लक्कन इधर आ जाओ हाँ बस वो सारी कोई साइज Very welcome. Yes.
Even in this country, it's a good sign that they can see that they are making some of their with food, with all the progress. Crazy. No, they are doing that to do that. But the people are
Nice? Good. Hello, mother. How are you? Nice to see you. Hello, welcome. Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, yes. ¿Cómo estábamos? Hola. Hola. Hola.
Please. Hi, Miss Fee. How is life? Nice to see you.
how are you?
Burkina Faso.
Probably.
Sí, ¿dónde está la señora? Hola. Hola.
Hola, hola, compañera.
¿Cómo estás? Hi. Thank you for coming. Sweet day. Nice to see you. Please.
But I have got one, but I
Yes, no problem, no problem. Esto es para... Hola, Joel.
Wonderful to see you. ¿Qué tal el fútbol? Bien, Luciano.
असल में ये स्टैंडिंग ही होता है खाने के बाद मान लो हाँ स्टैंडिंग ही प्रोग्राम रिसेप्शन ज़्यादातर स्टैंडिंग ही होती है लेकिन हमने सहूलत दी है
Muchos pueden hacer eso, solamente los amigos.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
Kavita. How are you? Mani, how are you? Good? Yes. Tell, what is, tell her, because they were hoping there would be no big jackets still inside. So the second one second, she's coming. Don't mind.
Yes.
Hello, welcome. Yeah, hi. Abid. Yeah, welcome.
They are really good friends of the embassy.
Oh, so it means they're right. Please,
No, she needs to be in medical operation related. She can't walk almost.
Yes, it was just
She breaks, the meniscus. She was suffering and getting worse, and she is,
Oh, it's wonderful to see you. I'm always feeling good to see you.
and she didn't want it, so during summer it get worse, and now we find her to a doctor. Actually, not so strong of it because I call a doctor in June more or less, and the doctor, sometimes they say, no, I see you healthy, you don't have pain. He didn't touch anything. So today there are some embassies. We want to make this day special to recognize those who fight peace in many senses. Peace is at least a part of justice. So we're talking about that. And I must say you that this weekend we inaugurated the first bicycle lane officially in Venezuela. It's only 1 kilometer, but it's officially. So the same standards like here in Venezuela. It's a separate lane, higher than the road, but beneath the pedestrian side, which in Venezuela it would be traumatic. So we made only 1 kilometer. My idea was to make not 1 kilometer, to make a lot. So it will be really traumatic because with 1 kilometer, the drivers still believe that they are the owners of the lane. But this is 1 kilometer. Yes. We're in good negotiations. Be more successful with Pesca, but that's not my main issue. My main issue is as soon as we have a commercial agreement, universities, folk center, reason, yes, but because I have already convinced that we need to make this a social issue. I'm going to shock Alex and my people because the first delegation I'm going to send is to Christianity. Because I want to show you that, to be simple, so an environmental behavior is not a matter of a fact of money. And to show that, Christianity has no money. And they can do it. They have a social care system. Okay, you don't believe in stones, and it's your own matter. They believe in that. So I respect that a lot. But they have a social care system, primary to attend. They have even a coin, and they can provide those who need, and they receive from those who has the blood in excess. So, and they can recycle, they can make compost, they can have, environmental, so, and they don't need money. They are against the system. So it doesn't matter because in Venezuela, every time you go to the community, you know that we are trying to make a community. That's the main issue. I have the principal of the DTU is not the same, but it's also they are including social, specialists because every kind of this project they need a social commitment, and the commitment is at the level of the community. When I go to Venezuela, I try to explain the same thing. We say, okay, where is the money? Because we don't have this kind of social groups in the society to believe in their power or strength. Sometimes it's a traumatic process, strikes. So even that in Venezuela we have that. The problem is that suddenly we have a president who was solving all the problems of everything. So, okay, let's wait. If they consider that the system is working, because then you can have the most what is your organization? What is your organization?
Today I am coming home with invitations. Maybe somebody who can attend, but the intention is just to have a short political program, just maybe explain with deliver some words, and then I will say something, and then we will have just friendly rather than you are free, and you are free to invite any people you want.
I want you to come, and I'll spank her if she does.
Okay, and also books. How is he? Difficult. Yes. Well, invite whomever you want. We will be plenty of room, and I will provide with something to eat, and Cuban rum, and some refreshments, and everything. Okay? Just to combine suffer with something with. I have a friend. fighters. ¿Cómo lo con facilidad?
Por la invitación. Una velada muy buena.
Que les haya gustado. ¿Tu esposo bien?
Mi esposo muy bien, gracias a Dios. Está...
Esta semana la voy a convocar para el viaje, porque el profesor me contó algo que yo le quiero enviar. Pero quiero ponerme de acuerdo primero para enviarlo con mi chofer, que él me diga
Con mucho gusto. Con mucho gusto, le va a encantar.
bueno,
Estaba muy contenta también con el disco de
eso me
la
pareció. Así que lo que espero es que haya una próxima ocasión y que podamos intercambiar un poquito más. Él se quedó realmente muy impresionado y muy agradecido.
Y estaba pensando,
Me dijo, mira qué bien, qué universidad más prestigiosa.
Ah, qué bueno, qué bueno, qué bueno. Sí, ahora estaba muy contento y impresionados también de todo el trabajo que él hace y la gira tan pesada y fuerte
Muy
que...
pesada, estuvo en Rusia, eso fue 25 en casa, por la mañana. Él un poco que todo el programa cambió porque estaba recibiendo algunas invitaciones de Cuba. Y nos quedamos temprano aquí, él se iba para París y todo lo cambiamos porque tuvo una entrevista importante aquí, en la mañana del 26.
And also we are working in a good project.
Yes, we are
In our
about to make a
book
book.
Okay, you're making...
about the visit of Miranda to Denmark and how the human rights were developed, at least to prisoners.
That's right. We're also meeting the tomorrow.
Yes, yes. For that day, I hope to have an answer for a small sculpture, yes, which I'm bringing from Venezuela, but it haven't arrived yet. But I hope to have it. If it's not on time, I will. Yes. I was able to convince how I break the initial steps that we are in our country and we can buy the biggest stupid thing that you can imagine. Okay, we provide oil, particularly diesel, to IT. They don't process anything, they don't produce anything, they just need energy. What about if instead of selling oil for free, because it's for free, we sell it and then every 3-4 months we say, okay, we don't need to pay me. Okay, it's for free. It's our commitment. We have that task or duty or responsibility. What about instead of just giving this, we provide agreement? Because our commitment is to provide energy. We can. What if we can find any factory? One in Silke, the other maybe it's going Siemens, and another one in China. We are talking about between 1 and 5
1:30 बजे स्टार्ट था 1:30 बजे स्टार्ट था और उसके बाद जैसे लेकिन लोग भी हमारे पीछे आ रहे थे हाँ
Let's try to build as much as we can. Give a windmill, which is the same, it's energy. We're still going to provide diesel. But all the diesel we sell, we can sell it in the market and have more money to make more windmills. And in Silkeborg, I found a factory that they are producing, it's the same, but it has already been approved. Instead of having 3, winds, you have only 2. The benefit is when it's a strong wind, the blades can be just the winds can just put down. Yes.
But at least it's bigger than the 2 blades.
2 blades, yes. Yes, because 3 blades is impossible to lie them. Because the solution till now it was tried in Cuba was, in that case, the whole windmill lies down, but we discovered that the waves cause more damage if it's offshore, and if it's inland, you know, branches and so, they make more harm than this. We are going to try, we are making negotiations to try, but again, it's not only, we need the technology, but we also, my position is not a matter of just buying a windmill. It's a social issue.
Last time, before it was China,
now it's Texas. They are about to sell 200 windmills in this moment. It's impossible, but you know, it means a lot. I'm you know, that diplomats will last 5 years. I started 1 week and a half ago to start that. So I promised.
¿Y sabes, hay algunos convenios de universidades?
You have
Eso estaría súper interesante de ver porque...
No, it's a, no, I can understand. Somehow when you come to start and you headlines and so now I'm studying sex, but I haven't been but every time we reach something, someone is promoted and then start talking. We are going to have 2 weeks. It's a conference oil development in Spain. And I'm going there to Spain, but not as a Venezuela, as a representative of how alternative oil could be included inside oil development programs. As a Venezuelan, of course, but I'm not going to be, you know, as me. It's incredible that it's like that. And I'm going to expose all this.
Before you now, we were sitting in a rocking chair.
Yes.
We can still talk about
No, I don't think so. It's difficult to convince because it's a really expensive technology. We tried with sun and it was totally unsuccessful. Let me explain why. Because the thing is, we don't have that range of development where an owner can provide himself and control the electricity he can produce. That's not the matter. And we are not in the level of survival that you need one sole cell to provide one kitchen. It's in between, really down, but in between. Because the initial idea was, what about is the poor neighborhoods, instead of stealing electricity, they sell it. And we try with solar. We can control it. Really complicated.
You need really to fix it.
The network is not stable, and we don't have a stable network. And they say, then when we start to talk about 2 years ago, this, I already have a presentation from Samsung, you know, energy center, and he went to it. So it was, you know, some people, they help more if they remain sharp. And all the presentation was, you cannot use wind energy if you don't have a stable system. Because you don't have wind and you need it. Okay, all the work with mainly PDVSA, fall down and start over again. And then I went, it was, when I talked to you, I was in a meeting with the oil industry development, the Minister of Energy, and he wants solutions. And I came here and says, the matter of IT and I was talking about women.
El simple hecho de parece que no es mucha la diferencia de cultura porque es un país
I say, you are wrong. And the man who said that was completely wrong. It's a mistake. And let me explain, we have one river here and we consume the energy. And we have problems with the river when it's the dry season. But when it's the dry season, we have the strongest river. So we can use. Imagine, we don't need. Exactly. We are not using to save the river. We can use wind to save the river. As simple as that. Not to keep stable the system. We are not going to have a system stable. No.
That's where they are wrong.
Exactly.
And that's why
They make a mistake. It was no, I'm not going to let them explain again that at this level because, okay, they were honest. They didn't try that to make any damage. But if you don't, exactly, and which
only look from the solution of what is best case, not the worst case. That is the problem now. I can't figure out if you do actually work with that, how to do the best and work from the honest experience. I suspect you had the problem with
yes. Yes. It was 1.5 years ago, no more than 2 years.
Så jeg havde din materiale, som jeg sidste år, så sidste år,
if you have will, you can sell with one community, small community, with 3 or 4 women between 1.5 and 2 can sell electricity to the system. So the community can start to manage money. Because we are not using it. The other way to the community to have money is through tickets, with penalizations, and you are going faster or anything. We are not. That's not the philosophy of Chávez. Still not the philosophy, because we are still including people to have water or sewage or electricity. We're still having people outside the system. How are you going to start to put? Okay, we have an abuse from the richer. Oil is so cheap, electricity is so cheap that they waste. Okay, we need to figure somehow to make any kind of compensation. But how can we start to? They tried this year with a quiz to put kind of fairs in different levels. And people, if you have people in the level of salaries that they can cover food and they start to cover school.
Hi, this is the Danish TV Street Space, and maybe I've seen you guys before at some, or at least your colleague. I've seen at a conference, and maybe you can tell who you are, where you're coming from.
Well, we are from the Schiller Institute,
I could have guessed.
which is an international organization working for peace and economic development around the world.
Yes.
And well, we are very happy that we actually succeeded in preventing World War III. It came very close because an American attack on...
When was that moment?
That was at the moment when the American military convinced Barack Obama he could not go to war against Syria without getting the support of the American Congress.
Do you have the honor of having done that before, or is this the first time?
We've been working on that for quite some many years. And the problem we have is it's always short-term war avoidance when it succeeds. Okay. Now we're at a point where we say we have to have peace creation, and that means economic development. That means that the United States join hands with Russia, with China, with India, with other countries around big infrastructure projects, like a tunnel under the Bering Strait, like big, not only railroad projects, maglev projects, water projects, but also directly a common determination to go into the age of thermonuclear fusion. That we should have as an aim within very few decades, through very hard and collaborative works, of having unlimited energy available for mankind, for all nations. Because right now we're 7 billion people. We might soon be 10 or 15 if we don't eradicate each other.
That includes all forms of energy production. You have no there are no forms of energy that you do not accept.
Well, the point is, energy is not just energy. The higher energy flux density you have, the more powerful energy source you have. So that means as you move from wood to coal to oil to fission power, what people know as nuclear power, when you then move to thermonuclear power, this is what's going on at the sun. It's a lot more energy dense. And once you control that, you can have all the energy you want. You can transform materials as we know it. And that means that you have the potential not only for feeding 7 billion people, 10 billion people, or 50 or 100 or whatever. But this doesn't just happen. This is an investment of mankind to say, we will together let the future needs decide what we do today, and not, some, bad history from the past. We have to let the future determine the present, not the past. And that's what we, with the Schiller Institute, Helga Sepp-LaRouche, the founder of the Schiller Institute, has termed, we need a paradigm shift. We need a shift for letting the future decide the present and not letting the past. And that's possible now with the Russian-American collaboration on resolving this, not having to go to war in Syria. There's still war in Syria. Part 2 must be to end that war, to get a peaceful settlement. It's not going to be easy, but if the United States and Russia determines we want to settle this peacefully, it can be done. Then we can get this whole conflict with Iran settled, and then we say, okay, this is war avoidance. Now we go for peace creations with these big projects. So that's what's on our mind right now.
Of course, peace is more important than anything, because if there's no peace, there's maybe extermination of the human race. So that's the first priority. But nevertheless, from what you just said, I can't help but asking you, is Fukushima not a problem for your nuclear energy?
No, it's a fraud. There was a problem. You had a tsunami, you had many people killed, you had terrible consequences for many people. But the biggest threat right now of the Fukushima is that this anti-nuclear hype will mean that Japan will get into a summer without adequate energy supplies. And that will mean the price of energy will go up. It will mean that a lot of people, sick people, elderly people, will not get the air conditioning they need, they will not get their needs provided, and they will die as a consequence.
And maybe there's a possibility, therefore, of a war with China or somebody else?
Well, the same people that say Japan should not think of a future in terms of energy, they should shut down the nuclear program. They're the same people who say we should have a war with China, find some island somewhere, make an excuse, go to war. It's the same mentality. Because once you accept the fact that we are 7 billion people today in the world, many of whom do not get their most immediate needs provided for, and once you accept the fact that we're going to be many more in the future, if you do not provide clean, cheap energy for those people, they're not going to have much of a life, and then you'll have war. So you cannot say, I'm afraid of nuclear power, therefore these people will not have development. If you don't like nuclear power, keep developing the technology, go from the third generation to the fourth generation that's inherently safe. I mean, after all, these reactors in Japan are very old.
It sounds like you're a strong supporter of science.
Yes, because I know that what differentiates man from the animals is science. It's our ability to have foreknowledge, to control fire. And that is what separates us from the animals. When we don't use science, we are degraded to become animals once again.
Hey, now I'm tempted to ask you another question. Maybe it's controversial. What's your opinion of Monsanto?
Well, my opinion is that you have these supranational cartels who think more of making money than of the well-being of mankind. They think they can have a patent on life. They think that they can forbid people to grow food as is most optimal in order for them to make profit. So you have to make laws against this. You have to go back to how is it that at least most of the world's population is being fed today through the Green Revolution, through what you can say, a humanistic approach where great scientists developed new types of rice and grain and other things which were much more productive and did not take a patent on this in order to make money, but says this knowledge is for all of mankind. That has to be their approach. If Monsanto thinks they're going to earn a lot of money on having hungry people and starving people around the world, we have to shut that down.
Was the Green Revolution a success?
In terms of...
In India and wherever it was?
Yes. This policy you had of developing new sorts of rice and other things, which are a lot more productive, was an extreme success. And it's a process which is not ending. This is something that is still ongoing and should be ongoing. And this is what is our purpose. What does it mean to be a human being? It means to have foreknowledge. It means to look into the future, see the needs that are going to come, and then being inspired by those needs to make breakthroughs, to make new scientific discoveries, whether it be in how to grow food more efficient or how to do it better, or it's to have fusion power, or it's going out into space, or it's developing a collaboration for preventing future asteroids from hitting the Earth so mankind could be threatened by it.
There are some people who believe in science, maybe as much as you do. They believe that, we don't have to worry too much about this planet because we'll develop our rocket science so much that we'll take off to another planet. We don't have to worry about that too much. And anyway, we can feel completely safe about what we're doing. We can do anything we want, almost. I mean, are you ready to take off to another planet?
That's going to take a long time until we are ready to do that. And right now,
we don't have time, or what?
The problem we have right now is that we are totally unprotected. One big asteroid, of which there are tens and hundreds of thousands, could wipe out mankind in one blow. Until now, we have been lucky. It didn't come. We are not going to stay lucky.
Hey, was it Bruce Willis that took off to a planet and saved us from an asteroid or something?
I think one thing I know for sure is we are not going to solve mankind's problems through Hollywood. If you look to Hollywood for leadership, you're dead. Let's go to science. And the point is, mankind is a fantastic thing. Our mental powers, our cognitive powers, is the most fantastic resource in this universe. Let's think ahead. Let's make sure that we have a certain protection for Earth. This is not easy. This is a big effort for all of mankind. At the same time, let's make sure that all of mankind is provided for. And then at some future point, yes, we will go out into the rest of the solar system and control it. We will go out into the other parts of the galaxies. But these are things that are going to take many, many generations. And that's the real challenge. Are you able to think 100 or 1,000 generations ahead and think of those people that are going to be there 1,000 generations from now and make decisions which makes what they should be doing at that time possible. This is what we have been lacking. People live from moment to moment. They try to survive. But mankind only survives by us thinking ahead to the future, and on the basis of that, getting together, talking together, solving problems, making new discoveries. And if we do that right now, we'll do just fine. Then I think then there will be hope for mankind, and then all of the deeds we do today will not be wasted. They will actually be carried into the future.
Hey, do you work as a teacher or a scientist or something else?
The idea with the Schiller Institute and the LaRouche movement, with Lyndon LaRouche in the United States, that is a mentor of our whole movement, you could say, is that everybody that's serious about politics has to become it. They have to become a teacher. They have to become a scientist. They have to be all of that. Because right now the world needs leadership. Right now the world needs ideas and visions. They need passion. And if you therefore worry about mankind, well, all that mankind needs, you become it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome everyone to the International Peace Day. My name is Sabah and this is my co-host Amani. I'm a student of public administration and Amani is a medical student. And Amani will now introduce herself and the program of today.
Hello everyone and welcome. As mentioned, my name is Amani and today we will start with an introduction to the Organization for World Peace and the magazine The Rationale. Then the chairman of the organization, Mr. Abid Ali Abid, will give a speech about peace in general and about the situation of peace today. After his speech, there will be given an opportunity for some of you to say a couple of words in the honor of today. Next, the organization wished to hand away International Human Rights Award, and the receiver is going to give a speech. And furthermore, the organization wished to give a sign of peace to all the embassies that are presented here today. And finally, we are going to end the day with a photo session and a reception with food. Yes, and now Sabah wants to give an introduction to the organization.
Also lunch plus dinner. Okay.
Yeah, and the reception includes lunch and dinner.
Yes, I will now introduce the Organization for World Peace, which was established in 2000. The organization is a non-profit organization which is serving the purpose of peace among different cultures around the world. The main object of the organization is to create peace and dialogue among different cultures around the world. The main object of the organization is to create a better understanding for long-lasting peace in the world. The organization is also trying to create new theories about peace and believe that all nations of the world should have equal rights in the international forum and in the international arena. The Organization for World Peace believes in diversity among different cultures and languages and believe in a mutual understanding among all these differences. The organization is also running an international English magazine, which is called the Rationale, and the organization have been successful in arranging a lot of peace-related events. The organization have representatives in 33 countries, and this number is increasing very rapidly. The organization believes that each and every person in this world can contribute to create a more peaceful world, and especially for the isolated and poor nations of the world. And Amani will now introduce the first speaker of today, which is the chairman of the organization.
The first speaker of today is the chairman of the organization, as mentioned, and it's Mr. Abid Ali Abid. He established the organization in 2000 and is now also the editor of the magazine The Rationale. He's going to give a speech about peace and want to discuss the barriers and the determining factors for peace. And he wished to do so by discussing some of the major conflicts in the world, the Palestinian issue, the Syrian dilemma, the North Korean situation, etc. So please give a warm welcome to Mr. Abid.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, I'm honored to address this opportunity here and this assembly here. I think there are many desires which runs in our mind and soul, which runs and our lives are looking for. And we are in the search of that desires. But the most desirable thing is what? Which gives satisfaction, love, understanding, communication, respect, and that is peace. When we say peace, many think the absence of war is peace. Some think absence of poverty is peace. Some think the human right, if there is a human right violation, there is no peace. Some think if there are not so many diseases, there is a peace. But I think these all elements are the determining factors. And the major factor is that when we look the domination with the name of peace, when we look the name of unilateralism and the misuse of the unilateralism, that is destroying the value of peace. When we see for the established organizations for the peace, for the better understanding, and they are unfortunately destroying the real peace of the world. The reason is there are two theories. The first theory for a better life is friend, not master. But what is happening? In the other direction, the powerful nations of the world and the organizations of the world are misusing this term. They are saying master, master, and master. And it is really the worst phenomena which is destroying the world peace. Let me give you some example. With the name of using the atom bombs in 1945 in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. With the name of peace. But I don't believe, because I do believe that all passes through peace go through the window and the door of the peace. You cannot achieve peace through violation of human rights. You cannot achieve peace with the name of war. Yes, the latest example, yes, we need more peace in Middle East when we destroy also Syria. We need more peace when we have sanctions against Iran. We have a peace in Latin America more than 62 years. Cuba is facing sanctions. People are affecting, no problem. Now the superpowers are affecting. So, but in my theories, in our organization theories, we need and believe that the peace is dynamic process. It's not a process of today. It's not a process for today or not for tomorrow. It is for centuries to become. Peace is like a symbol of the flowers. Anybody can enjoy the flavor of the flowers. Not with the hidden agenda. We have to bring out the hidden agenda who are the killers of peace. Let me say one thing. Now, thanks God that for time being there is no attack on Syria, there is no attack on North Korea, there is no attack on Pakistan, there is no attack on Iran, but so many issues. Thousands are issues. The issue of Palestine. Who created certain problems over there? Zionists or their supporters? The supporters are the killer of the humanity, not the only Israel. There was a democratic process in Egypt. They don't like, finished. In Palestine, if one group is elected and someone don't like, it's not democratic way. And the people outside of the border and the nation outside of the Israel and Palestine don't like. So they are not the group, they are not real democratic. So the double and triple moral is destroying the real spirit of peace. Why we are here today? My message is very clear. That the first, I would love and convey my message to the honorable diplomats here, that they have to promote such activities. And I'm very thankful all of them. And some of the NGOs and the local media, we are doing our best within our spirit and capacity. But unfortunately, we have a very limited power, but we have the greatest power. I give one example. In one forest, there was started fire. All birds started crying that the fire will destroy them and they kill them. But there was one single bird which was going, running and bringing 2 drops of water and putting on the fire. The other bird said, "Is it will finish the fire?" He said, "No, it will not finish the fire. But in the history, my name will be as a firefighter. I will not put oil and not make the more fire." So my message is very clear, that we will not allow this democratically elected leadership to misuse their power for destroying the peace of the world. I'm sure you all are with this theory. What is more we can calculate about the peace? If peace is just a word, no. It keeps some effect, like the medicine. It is a dose for the enemies of the peace. Our efforts are really a dose for the enemies of the peace. And we know we are the pioneer and we will be. When we say pioneer, this is a constant process because it is non-stop process. So anyone who come and take the place of the others, they are the real and effective leader of the peace. And I consider the best leader of the peace are our children. The best example is in this hall. This is the best example of the integration that everybody can live with the peace and the harmony, understanding, and better communication. We don't need thousands and millions of kilometers to maintain. Wherever we are, we have to take the action. But we don't want to see. I was in Iraq about 27 years ago. People's faces were happy. Now I can see and read that the 2 young generation of Iraq has been finished. One young generation of Iran was finished when there was a war between Iran and Iraq. Now they are trying to destroy the new young generation of Syria, Egypt, Bahrain situation is in your friend. North Korean situation is your friend. The Chinese are afraid from Japan for their missile technology. Everybody are afraid from each and other. Why? Because we are not ready to sit together and talk together. Issue cannot be big. Issue can be smaller and smaller and smaller. The condition is our dialogue and dialogue. My message is very clear in the end, that I can speak a lot about this. But everybody have to enjoy the food, the award-giving ceremony, which we have beautifully tried to offer you. I really thank my friend here, Christian Holland. We have arranged a day for him, and this all stages for him today. He will be the major speaker, not me. We are in favor of his efforts. And the latest what he did, a great job. He won the case of the Iraqi victim from the Supreme Court of Denmark. And he has given the light of his work internationally. I recognize and give you congratulations, Mr. Christian Holland. I greet all ambassadors and all other diplomats. Everyone who don't have any designation, he has the greatest designation because we can give him a good designation, a peace ambassador. Thanks to God, our organization is working in 33 countries now. And if in any country we don't have ambassador of peace, I will ask my diplomats friends to recommend some names, the active and effective people. For example, my friend from Armenian embassy. He is one of the best examples for me. Whenever I look, he gives a smile. The peace is with smile. The peace is with the love. The peace is effective when we have an extract of the understanding and the love which we can distribute everyone. May God bless all of you. I'm honored among all of you. I'm with all of you. Wherever you go, I'm with you. I would love and thanks to the stations, newborn babies. Think more than 2,000 children are dying for hunger every day in the world. Who is responsible? You want to give the punishment to one country, you are giving the punishment to the whole world. The killing of one is the killing of the whole humanity. The terror is not for the one country. Terror means terror for each and every person living in this earth. We have to work against all these enemies and dirty spot on the human faces. We have to remove them for our better work, for better understanding, and better love. May God bless all of you. May God bless all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Abid. And I think that we are many that wish to thank you for your hard work for promoting peace. So thank you. Now we have a bit of time for some of you to say a couple of words if you want to.
Any diplomat want to talk or present some word? Anyone?
You can put your hand up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Here is Dr. Roger. Please give your introduction a little bit.
Good afternoon, Excellencies and dear guests and friends. I'm Roger Corbacho from the Embassy of Venezuela. Today, in front of all of you, Venezuela is reporting a kidnapping. World peace and human dignity are hostages. The kidnapper has many faces and sometimes even changes his flags. To understand this kidnapping, it's essential to review the recent history, but also it's need to carefully read the current headlines. Many of you have heard that it took 2 world wars in the 20th century to prohibit wars. However, that is not entirely true, and truth is necessary to build peace. The facts are that after the First World War, all wars were banned. However, after the Second World War, it became clear that there were some just wars. While the war was not a good issue, it was necessary. In addition, they became immediately that there was a right to protect and a justice in order to make more wars. To control possible abuse in such ambiguity, it was created a multilateral decision-making structure, United Nations. Therefore, to declare war, it was at least necessary to have some consensus. Unfortunately, the multilateral system is now broken. That breakdown has led to countless abuses from some nations, among others. All of these abuses have been made in the name of necessity or even protection. Not many years ago, we witnessed the shameful display of supposed evidence to justify the war. Or don't you remember Colin Powell's presentation at United Nations? However, and most recently, we have reached the point that we no longer need such shameful spectacle. Now, we must simply believe that such kind of evidence just exists. If they say so, that is why today Venezuela claims that world peace and human dignity are hostages. We also denounce, and as I say at the beginning, that the kidnapper has many faces and that he even changed flags. Nevertheless, the kidnapper still always be the same. It is imperialism. And imperialism performed by states that consider themselves exceptional, states acting unilaterally in the international level, acting in detrimental of democracy in other countries, but even in detrimental of democracy in their own countries. In short, acting against multilateralism and sovereignty of other peoples. From Latin America and the Caribbean, through the CELAC, we have shown that another world is possible. So far, we have built with great effort a territory free of any weapons of mass destruction, whether nuclear or chemical. And we have to articulate a multilateral system where war is not even an option that can be put over the table. We have shown that without military intervention, without drones, without economic blockade, it is possible to build and preserve authentic democracy. We have shown that in peace it's possible to advance in the fight against hunger, poverty, inequality. We have shown that peace is the most convenient and sustainable way to act against injustice. Indeed, dear friends, peace has been kidnapped today, and it has been kidnapped in New York. That's why, humble, we ask for a change of venue for this important multilateral organization. Let's take it to a territory that respects both international law and sovereignty of the member countries. As my own government say, as the great leader Chavez, my former president, says once, let's get United Nations to the south. At least in there, all the countries are exactly the same. And I wish to finish this remembering that the peace is, there is not a way to peace. Peace is the way itself. And that's why we are gathered here today to acknowledge that the peace is not a matter of leaders. It's a matter of responsibility each day. And I wish to thank to those who fight for peace with no weapons, like the Cuban prisoners, the 5 Cuban prisoners in North America, which they fight against terrorists with not a single weapon. I wish to acknowledge Chavez, that only with speech and with love was able to reconstruct a multilateral system, and I wish to express my personal gratitude to Christian Harlan, which the defense of one by one person in the world is the best way to construct a peace for everyone. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you very much, Dr. Roger. You have contributed a lot to the work of the Organization for World Peace, together with other Latin American embassies here in Copenhagen. And you have also contributed to the magazine, the Rationale, and thank you very much for your very nice speech. And now, Amani, you will introduce the award receiver.
Yeah, and now we will introduce the award receiver. The organization wants to hand away the International Human Rights Award, and it's given to Christian Harlang, as mentioned before, for his work within the field of human rights and for his fight against an injustice world. So, since 1982, Mr. Christian Harlang and his associated lawyers have been working on very important civil rights cases involving national constitutional law and international human rights. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to go through his entire list of principal cases, as they are proving over 50 cases, I think, and some of them you might know. However, the most well-known cases and the cases we found very interesting are
yes, the very interesting cases were the constitutional case of the Maastricht Treaty in 1993, as the treaty was not in conformity with the Danish constitution and with the human rights. And another very interesting case is the case about the Iraqi citizens who have been exposed to torture when they were arrested and turned over to Iraqi torture prisons by the Danish military forces in 2004. And with these words, we would like to call Mr. Christian Harlang here to hear his speech, and afterward give him the award.
Mr. Abid, Excellencies, colleagues, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Abid, I must thank you very much for choosing me for this award, which I understand is the first award handover to take place. It's a great honor and privilege for me to receive that award, and I'm very grateful indeed that you have chosen me to have the first award. I have been working as an independent lawyer in Copenhagen now for nearly 32 years. Most of the time I have worked with ordinary cases. I still do, together with my associates. We are 10 persons in our law firm in Copenhagen, and we will continue to do so. The last about 20 years, I have taken up priorities besides the more ordinary cases, also to do litigation and advice on issues of international law, of human rights, about discrimination and similar issues. That work is involving different difficult issues. It's involving often unpleasant matters, I must say. Also, regrettably, unpleasant matters about what our government in Denmark is participating into, which is very deplorable many times to see. But the law must be used in order to describe what mistakes are done, in order to make the government and other Western countries understand their failures, in order to not repeat them in future time. Besides being difficult issues, being unpleasant matters, and it is also often uphill, you can imagine that. Mr. Abid was so nice to mention that we have this victory in the Supreme Court only 2 weeks ago. We have some victories, we have some times where we don't have victories, but we will go on, and we had a very important victory that he mentions, that the Supreme Court in Denmark overruled the Council of the Government and the High Court. The Supreme Court stated that the 23 Iraqi torture victims that we are representing, they could have the right for fair trial in Denmark about their claim of compensation without having to make a deposit of security as a condition to have a fair trial. It was not only stated by the Supreme Court that that should be the case, but it was also underlined by the Supreme Court that this is a very important case, it's a very serious case, and it must be dealt with very intense and very qualified treatment within the Danish judiciary. And with that message, now the case will be pending before the High Court as the first instance. And we will have this message together with us, which is a great achievement that we appreciate very much. And it's a result for now having worked with that case for 2 years. That is showing to you how the conditions are in Denmark. They are not the way maybe it should be expected, the democratic society of Denmark, that it should take 2 years to get to that point. But we finally reached that only 2 weeks ago. My point about the difficult issues and the often unpleasant matters that I deal with together with uphill work, it could bring you to maybe believe that I will be regretting the work I'm doing. But on the contrary, I must say I feel very happy with that part of my professional business that I have taken up more and more within the last 20 years, as mentioned. When you do work like that, when you do uphill work, though you have a very strong case, or seen from a moral point of view, because you are protecting the principle of rule of law internationally, and you are by that also, I agree with Ambassador Corbacho of Venezuela, that there is a very close relationship between the rule of law and peace. But when you deal with that, it's uphill, but you need to have some appreciation. And I have, the reason why I'm saying I'm very happy to do this is that I receive so many times appreciation from clients and others. And to go uphill, I need to have that fuel. But it's a very important fuel to have for the future work. And I must say to you, Mr. Abid, that giving me this award today, you have filled up the tank with fuel, with plenty of fuel for my future work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Haller. And I'm gonna go home and write a mail about my appreciation, so you get more fuel. I have to remember that. Yes, now we wish to hand over the sign of peace for all the diplomats. So, the country starting from A to C can come up and will receive the sign of peace. So, yeah, the country starting from starting with A, B, and C. There was someone from Nigeria and Albania.
Please, we are giving on your behalf. Okay. Any embassy with the other embassy with the name of A or start with A? Yes, please. Yeah, no, you can announce, please.
Thank you.
Oh, I have to learn how to open it. Please.
Thank you.
This is for your embassy.
Thank you.
Anyone? Yeah. B के साथ नाम नहीं लेना, आप जैसे बताना है. Yeah, Benin.
Benin?
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Yeah, please. Yeah. You and me will take. Oh yes, that's fine. Any other embassy with the B? Yes, please. Yeah. Please say the name so everybody knows. Burkina Faso.
From Burkina Faso. Congratulations.
Any with the Anyone with the other ones with the B? C? C?
Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah. Please. Please, can you tell the name?
Côte d'Ivoire. Thank you.
With the Cuban embassy.
Cuban embassy.
Ambassador Yamira.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Cuba.
Anyone else with the C or D? D.
D.
No, but Bosnia-Herzegovina. Yeah? Oh, why? How you forget, Excellency? Very welcome. Sir, you have to give to our lovely friend. Yes. And anyone with the D? E? Yes. Denmark? Yes, I will hold. Thank you. And the E or F, you know, everybody knows that how it will be. D, E, F, G, H, I. Iran. Yes. Yes.
Congratulations.
Anyone else with the I? Pardon? Libya. Please. Ghana.
Oh.
Ghana?
Yes. Here we are.
Yes.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
To go before Ghana.
Indonesia.
Yes.
Oh. Very welcome.
Indonesia.
Thank you.
Yes.
Then Ghana is.
Yes.
Embassy of Ghana.
Congratulations.
And next, after G, H, I, J, K, L, Libya.
Embassy of Libya.
Peru. Next.
The Embassy of Morocco.
Yes. Marrakesh Embassy. Nepal, I think.
The Embassy of Nepal.
Who is the next? I think there was, I can see Palestine, friends. Palestine?
Palestine. Congratulations.
I think we need at least 5 times clapping. But this needs to Al-Mabruk. And there was also somebody representing South Africa.
Yes.
Ambassador told me.
Africa.
Hmm? Yes, she just left and she told me they have deputes won on her behalf.
Any representative?
South Africa?
Yes?
Yeah, yes, it's me.
Yes. She's responsible, yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And we have, I personally admire the services of our wonderful journalist, Mr. Fateh Abadi from Palestine. Yes.
My ambassador,
Yes, but you are different in some ways.
I'm a friend, I'm not an ambassador.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
And we would also like to call Troels Peter Smith.
Yes, the journalist of Caridad TV. Yes. So you have to give someone camera.
Will you hold this camera?
The Embassy of Venezuela.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This is a surprise.
Yes.
Embassy of Venezuela.
Good. He's always with peace, and we admire it. Thank you very much. Thank you. And if any other diplomats from any embassy?
Any other diplomats from any other embassies? No?
So, no, we
now, the chairman of the Organization for World Peace will give his final remarks of today, and after that we will have a short photo session, and then there will be opportunity for networking, and there will be provided food for everyone.
Yes. Noise. Yes. See, it's our love which we have dedicated to all of our friends through sign of peace. And now the master and the chief guest and the people who know the word dulha of the day, the bridal of the day, and I can't say so many words. I'm very emotional when I talk about my friend, and the real appreciations goes to him, to may I call you Doctor Excellency?
What you like.
Christian Haaland. Thank you very much. I will present this award, but I will request all ambassadors, it's my personal request, to come behind us and show our support for the human rights and the love. Thank you very much. I have flowers that you can do. Yeah. One thing, just 1 second. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And please, both of you can. It is not a flower, but in order to keep for a long time. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And my prayer. There is one more name in the last, but that we will see. And may I say something? Alang, you are inspiration for us. And we love your work, and we have got new spirit through your work. And we hope your cooperation, and I am pleased to announce that he has accepted to be our honorary legal advisor for our organization, for which I thanks. but I will request him if he will also accept to be our member of the committee. It will be our honor too. And this is our small dedication for his work, which we can't forget and we will never forget it. May God bless you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
In 5 minutes. Thank you. Thank you to all coming here. Thank you so much.
And we have also, that is, I forget unfortunately, this is the small book we have prepared for him.
It's a press review.
Yes.
Thank you. All welcome.
Too much, too much.
Hello, and in 5 minutes the dinner will be served. Thank you very much for doing it.
Do you know the chair? Hope to say or about the book?
Yeah, we have a meeting next and I'm very